What is up, everybody? Welcome back. What's happening? My name, Control for Days. If you did not know already, if you're new here, welcome. If this is not your first time here, welcome back. Today we are jumping into a modern league with a competitive build of the deck Black-Green Yawgmoth. And I think from this point moving forward, at least in the near future, I'm going to try to be a little consistent with the types of decks we play throughout the week. Usually we release videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I think what I'm going to start doing is focusing the competitive builds of the deck on Fridays. So in the future, if you're looking for maybe a deck to play for the weekend or what my current favorite build is, plan to see those sorts of decks on Fridays. So that's what we're doing today. This is a competitive build, version 9.5. You can find the stats for this list linked in the description below. And this is fairly similar to what we ran in version 9.2 and 9.4. So it's the same shell of a deck. The main deck we're running today, the only change I've made from the past couple of lists that I've run is I've shaved a Blooming Marsh and I'm running an extra fetch land. As opposed to going up to 3 main deck forests like our good friend Zerk has done. I'm just adding the extra fetch land and staying on 2 forests in the main deck. Still running 1 Innkeeper, 1 Hapatra, 3 Evos, 2 Endurance. All of the normal cards that we've been running in recent past. 3 Birds of Paradise as well. The sideboard, I've shaved Sheoldred from this list. I mentioned it in a couple of my past videos, recent past videos, that Sheoldred was a card that was feeling a little lackluster as of recently. So I shaved the Sheoldred, I added a Fatal Push, I still have to go for the Throat, and then the rest of the sideboard's pretty much the same from what we've been running. So it was basically cutting Sheoldred, adding a Fatal Push. And once again, this is all somewhat theoretical, somewhat just hypothetical in terms of what I'm running and trying to optimize the list. But this is kind of the direction I'm heading in, at least for this league and this week. So if you're running an event this weekend, if you're playing an RCQ and you want to spike it with Yawgmoth, this would be the list that I would recommend. And yeah, I think this is a very solid list, and this is what I would take to your event. So let's saddle up. Let's get to it. Running through a league with version 9.5. Come join me. All right, everybody, we are jumping in. This is match 1 of our modern league. I am playing against swordstochancey. I don't know where the syllables are supposed to start and end there, but that's what we're going with. We are on the draw, opening 7. We are a little land light, little mana light, so I think we're going to mulligan this. One of those Evos could have been a land. I think we would have kept that. This is an interesting hand. This is a 6, and I think this is a little sketchy. This one's interesting. It's on the draw is where I have the issue with this. If we were on the play, I think it'd be worth keeping, but on the draw, I think I'm going to keep this, but I think we're going to need to get a little lucky here. In terms of what we're sending back, I think Cord or Endurance. This is also a tough one. I think we're going to send back the Endurance, and we'll go with this. Let's see what we're up against. All right. Opponent leads tower into map. We have the Visage, which is nice, but the rest of the hand is a little slow. If we can draw a Dork, which we did not. We did draw a land, though, so that's not terrible. We'll play out our Tomb tapped and then pass the turn here. So, I mean, this is looking like turn 3 Tron. Our opponent has a 7-card hand, so you have to imagine... Okay, so this is Eldrazi Tron. Not regular Tron. A little bit of a better matchup. We're going to play out our Geist this turn. This hand's shaping up to be really, really interesting. We could go Geist and then Hapatra Wolf next turn, and then Evo and kill on the following turn. Really interesting hand. We're going to play out the Catacombs, and I think I'm going to fetch. I wonder if we just play out the Hapatra now. This is a tough one. I'm going to get basic forest. I think we're going to go Geist right now. And we'll swing for 2. That was a tricky decision. I'm not 100% sure what the right choice was there. But this hand is very, very interesting. Alright, opponent cracks the map. I'm imagining they're getting a temple. Yes. Okay. Moving back to their turn. Saga goes up to 2. Alright, here comes the Thought-Knot Seer, which is something that I did have on my radar. So I was keeping this in mind. And we'll see what they take. I imagine they probably take the Evo, which I think we're actually okay with as long as they don't wipe our board. So we have a couple of really good cards. Okay, Patron. Interesting. Very interesting. So we can still line up a kill for turn 4. Ignoble, not bad. Alright, so I think we're going to go Beseiju here. Wolf, and then Hierarch. And then next turn we're looking to Evo, and then Chord for the Blood Artist and kill. So depending on what they do, we may or may not Chord during their turn. So we'll see how they play this one. And they could have a Warping Wail too, so that's something I am aware of. We'll see what they get with this Saga here. Interesting they didn't add mana there. A little weird. Okay, they hit 4. They get a land, so they get the Power Plant. It's kind of a weird sequence of plays. Okay, Ballista for 1. So they're going to take us off the Hierarch here. And I'm just debating, do I want to Chord for 1? I think I'm going to here. They're kind of, it feels like they're grasping at straws a little bit here. And I wonder if I just get another Yawgmoth. I think I just get another Yawgmoth here. This makes us pretty immune to whatever it is they want to do. And we have a blocker up now, so we can block this Thought-Knot, which we're fine with. Alright, feels like we're in pretty good shape. We're going to have a land drop, and we're going to have enough to be able to Chord if we draw into one. That would have been... eh. Alright. I think we start with an attack, and then we're going to Evo the Geist. Hit for 5, put him down to 13. Feels like we're winning this game. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but when they cast the Thought-Knot, it feels like that might have been a mistake getting the Hapatra in that instance, as opposed to going for the Evo. Okay. Churning out our value here. Another Hierarch. I'm basically just looking for a Chord at this point. We've got the mana to cast it. A lot of mana dorks. A Grist. And draw at least one more here. Another Wall of Roots. Draw 1 or 2 more. I guess if they hit... So if they hit Tron and cast out something like an Ugin, that will be annoying, but I'm going to stop there. I think we're going to put another Hierarch into play, and then we'll pass the turn from here. And discard, I'll dump a Birds of Paradise, I think. Alright, what you got? Alright, Blast Zone, sure. They can pop that, that's their entire turn though. And we'll still have our combo assembled, so not the end of the world there. Alright, no blocks, no attacks, no blocks, no nothing. And they're just passing the turn. See if they drop this on the upkeep. They don't. I wonder if we, I mean, we're pretty close to just swing for lethal. I'm going to lead Wall of Roots into a Geist. And from here, so I can play out this Grist. I mean, I'm really, really close to lethal. The only thing that's stopping me is this Blast Zone here. Okay, I think we'll take this line here. No, I don't love that. We're just gonna start with an attack for 6. We're gonna start with attack with these guys. Okay, block there. I'll sacrifice. We'll draw a card. They don't pop the Blast Zone there. I feel like they need the mana, which is why they are not doing that. They'll go down to 9 life. And from here, once again, I just think I'm going to pass the turn. They don't do anything. They don't uptick the Blast Zone. They don't pop the Blast Zone. They kind of just sit there. Alright, so now they have Tron. So if they have something like an Ugin, this could be a little bit problematic. Maybe I should have pushed a little bit harder. This is 7, 9, 10. Alright, so this is an Ulamog. And we can actually just still beat this. We'll see what they target here. The Wall of Roots, that's a really weird target. We're going to respond by sacrificing this P land. Alright, we got our Chord. Not trying to slow roll you, but sorry, my friend. Alright, we'll get our Blood Artist, and then this is the kill from here. Save targets, always yield. Right, we're going to be up a game here. Our good friend Innkeeper. Okay, so we got our combo assembled here. We're just going to kind of click through this and get them killed as quickly as possible. And they scoop. Okay, up a game. Alright, game 2, Eldrazi Tron. What do we want to bring in against Eldrazi Tron? I think I like 1 Force of Vigor, 3 Thought Seizes, maybe a Go for the Throat. I don't love Go for the Throat. I actually don't hate Crime Punishment. I actually don't hate Force of Vigor. I think maybe just these 5 cards, because they are running Saga. I think Force of Vigor is probably better. We're definitely shaping Endurance. I'm going to shave some number of walls. I'll shave 1 wall. I'll probably shave a bird. Shave a wolf here. We got 1 more card. I think we're going to shave the other Endurance. And we'll go with that. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. I like that. Alright, round the draw. Game 2. Okay, this is a very acceptable 7-card hand. So we're going to keep this. It does fall apart a little bit if they can kill this Hierarch, but I think we run with it. Alright, Tower, pass. They're on a 6-card hand. If they have like a turn 2 Ballista, or if they have a Dismember in their hand, they'll be able to kill this Hierarch. I think I'm going to start on the Yawgmoth here, just to preserve my life total a little bit. We'll see what this Force of Vigor does here. Alright, Scavenger Grounds, that can exile our graveyard into a map, and then they pass the turn. I'm debating whether or not I pop this Force on the map now. Yield to the end step. Let's see. So do I do that and cut them off of like a temple? Is that worth a 2 for 1? I think it might be. This is a play I'm not 100% sure about, but I think this is worth it. I think it just buys us time here. If this is a Dismember, it kind of sucks. Okay, yeah, that's unfortunate. So if they have like a temple in hand, that would be really bad for us, but if not, that felt like a good play. Let's see if they have another land drop. Okay, Blast Zone, sure. Blast Zone into Relic. Yeah, we're okay with that. Yield until the end step. Okay, and we'll get rid of an Ignoble here. Really doesn't matter. We don't have a way to bring either of those cards back because we don't have our Endurance in the deck. So we get Tomb tapped. So we have double black up. Geist is fine, but I think we're playing out our Grist here. And then plus, and then pass the turn. Ooh, we hit 2. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, Grist, doing your thing. Little protection against a Smasher if they have one. Love me some Grist. All right, so up to 5. Cast the Temple. I wonder if they drew into that. Here's the Smasher. Okay, sure. They're going to attack into our Grist. We're definitely blocking. It's just a matter of do we block with 1 or 2? I think we just block with 1 here. And then next turn we can just chump block the Smasher with the Yawg. Alright, play out the Catacombs plus the Grist. There's always like, when you double hit with Grist on Moto, there's always like this little hesitation. And it's, I could tell when we plussed it last time that we were getting that. Alright, so I'm going to swing in with the Insect. It's going to get sacrificed, so that's why we're doing that. The way we're going to get punished with the line that I'm taking here is if they have a Ballista in hand. So we'll see if they have that or not. Alright, they're drawing lands, so they're up to 5 mana, potentially 6 if it's an Eldrazi. If they have another Smasher, Karn's annoying. See if they have like a Pithing Needle here. Have to imagine it's a Pithing Needle. Yes, okay. So we're going to be drawing some cards here. Alright, Chord was a really good draw. I don't have Might in the deck, but Might doesn't do anything with Karn in play, so it doesn't really matter. So they have 1 card in hand. We're going to be able to Grist down the Smasher and kill the Karn on our next turn. And they'll have 1 card plus whatever they draw. Alright, we drew another Chord. I could also Grist plus land drop, Geist, Chord for another Grist, sacrifice the Geist, kill the Smasher, and swing into the Karn. I think that's probably the line. Just make sure I have the mana to do all of that. Peatland plus. Okay, we're going to Geist, Chord, I don't know if there's anything better for me to chord into. I think this is probably just the play. Get another Grist. This is the new one. Minus. Sacrifice the Geist. Kill the Smasher. Bring it back. They don't have their scavenger grounds up, so we can make this line, and then we'll swing into the Great Creator. All right, and as long as we have a board state next turn, it feels like we're pretty far ahead. Even though they have the Needle on the Yawg, I think we're pretty advantaged from this point. 2 cards in their hand, 5 mana up. Let's see what they got. Tablet, sure. So they get a land off of this. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. They get Temple. Play out the Temple. Play out, I guess this is a Thought-Knot Seer. That's kind of annoying. We would have liked to have had this second Court of Calling, but what are you going to do? All right, we're up. Innkeeper is fine. I think we lead by drawing a card here. All right, Basic Forest doesn't really do anything. We'll play out the Innkeeper. We're going to plus the Grist. They do have the Blast Zone, so they can potentially do that for 2 and wipe our 2 drops here. Grist, sure. Yawgmoth goes to the graveyard. We'll play our Blooming Marsh, and then we'll pass the turn from here. I think fairly clearly the best draw for us from this point is going to be something to get rid of the Pithing Needle, because it just opens up the floodgates at that point. Thought-Knot, sure, nothing. We're going to fetch here. I'm going to get my Dryad Arbor. Life total wise, we're at parity. Lose a life from the fetch, gain a life from the Arbor. It is all good. Eldritch Evolution, what does that get us? Does that get us anything worthwhile? Gets us another Grist. And we can put them on a 2-turn clock. 3, 5, 7, 8. And then they have to kill us next turn. I guess that's the line. 1, 2, 3. We're going to dump our Innkeeper here. And just make sure that that's the right card to get here. I think it is. This is our last Grist. We'll minus. We'll dump an Insect. We are going to get to draw a card as well. And if they draw something like an Ugin, we will lose. But if not, we should... I guess they could draw just some sort of a board wipe. All right. Swing with the team. 3, 5, 7, 8. Yeah, so they need to draw something this turn. And if not, I guess they still potentially have one more turn because they can tick up the Blast Zone. Sure, Blast Zone to 2. So they'll take 5, 6. They'll go down to 1. No, they'll go down to 2. Casting an Eldrazi here. This feels like a Smasher. Sure. Smasher swinging to our Grist. Okay, aggressive. All right, all of our Grists are gone. Drew into a Yawgmoth. We're going to lead with an attack here. Swing with the team, and now they have to pop the Blast Zone, I'm pretty sure. Because they have no cards in hand, and this is a lethal attack. Sure. Alright, they're at 2 life, and we'll play out this Yawgmoth, and then we'll pass the turn. We have 1 card in hand, they're at 2 life. See what they draw here. Playing out the Yawgmoth plays around like an Ulamog. We'll still be able to beat them if they had an Ulamog. Well, I guess that would be close, but we got there. 1 game. Let's go. All right, everybody, we are jumping back in. This is match 2 of our Modern League. We are playing against Levetica. We are currently 1-0. I gotta turn my mic down just a little bit. We are going to be on their draw. Our opponent mulliganed to 6, and we are unfortunately going to be joining them there. All right, our 6-card hand I think is acceptable. We're okay with this, so we're gonna run with it. Let's see how this goes. Keep, and I guess it comes down to, do we ship a chord or do we ship a land? And I think we probably ship a land. I think we can run with a two land hand and a dork. We'll see what they're playing here. This hand's a little bit weak, a little bit slow, but we're gonna see how this goes here. Okay, they lead Temple Garden into Birds of Paradise. Not exactly sure what this is. Might be like a devoted Druid style deck potentially. We're going to start on our Verdant Catacombs. We're going to fetch Basic Forest, play out our Hierarch, the superior mana dork in this mana dork face-off that we've got going here. Levetica, what are you up to? Alright, Overgrown Tune, turn 2 into 3 mana. It feels like they're paying for an X spell maybe, or like a. Oh, okay, okay. So they're running a. This is likely a devoted Druid build. Mill 3 cards, then you return a creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And they got a devoted Druid. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Alright, so we're on the clock here. We definitely need to make moves and do so quickly. They have 3 cards in hand. We will be able to swing down the Tyvar. They do have a Grist as well. This is an interesting situation. I think we need to start by getting rid of this Tyvar. Or I could just get rid of the Druid, but I think we need the mana. So I think we're going to start by attacking into this Tyvar. And I could die on my next turn. We'll see if that happens or not. They have 3 cards in hand. This is a little bit sketchy. Definitely a little sketchy. Being on the draw in this matchup is not where you want to be. But we need like one more turn to do our thing here. Alright, they're not blocking with the Druid, which doesn't feel great. And we'll play out our Yawgmoth and pass the turn. We got nothing else to do there. If we had drawn a land, well, I guess we drew the Grist, so we needed that to be able to kill this devoted Druid. But alright, 1 mana. Let's see what they got. Fetch land, call, and this is likely going to be game here. Alright, Vizier. So now they can make infinite mana. It's a matter of whether or not they can actually do anything with that mana. We're going to yield through turn here. Maybe it was wrong of me. Maybe I'm supposed to kill the devoted Druid there. I just don't think it puts us in a position. Alright, they got a Ballista. So this is going to be game. They're going to go infinite and just ping us out from there. Okay. Game 2. I think we're going to be bringing in Thought Seizes, our Fatal Push, our Go for the Throat, our Necromentia. I think that's where we're going to stop. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be bringing in out of their sideboard, like if we want something like a Force of Vigor or not. But I think this is how we're gonna approach this one. This is a matchup I haven't actually played since the new set came out, and it's a matchup I honestly haven't played in quite a long time. So we're gonna shave 1 Endurance. I think we're gonna shave a Grist, probably, maybe a Cord, some number of Wall of Roots, and probably a Yawgmoth as well. And we'll see how this goes. I think we need to get out of the gates pretty quickly here. Being on the play in this game is going to be good. We'll keep this 7. This is like a turn 3 combo potential. They kept their 7 card hand. We have to play out our Boseiju here just because we have the double Twilight Mirror draw. We are lacking interaction. I think our best draw this turn would be something like a Thoughtseize. We'll see if we can pull something like that. This is a... Okay, never seen that card before. It's a new one for me. Turn 2. Alright, Wall of Roots. So this is a turn 3 kill if we can draw into a Cord. And especially if they tap out here. Alright, so we're doing our thing pretty quickly here. We got killed on turn 3 last game. We'll see if we can return the favor this game to Druid. Okay, so we can kill that. And now we have essentially infinite. They can't activate this Lantern. So from here, alright, got our Yawgmoth, and they scooped. Okay, moving to a game 3. A nice interactive sequence of games here. Game 3, do I change anything? I guess I could bring in the Might if they have like the Luxor, Giada's Gift. That's a card that I guess I could be playing around here. Shave... I don't think Innkeeper really matters. We'll shave the Innkeeper here. And we'll run it back. See how this goes. This has been a quick one. We'll see if we can get there. Alright. So this hand, they mulligan to 6. I think this hand would be fine in like a normal matchup. But against this deck, I don't think we can keep this. I think we need interaction. And this has a lot of interaction. So I actually think we're going to keep this. They mulligan to 5. We'll keep... And I wonder if we get rid of our Haywire Might. I think we get rid of the Might. This hand seems pretty solid. We have a turn 2 Necromentia, depending on what they're doing. They're mulliganing to 5. And I wonder if they can actually combo if they don't have a Devoted Druid. I'm not 100% sure. Alright, turn 1, Temple Garden. Off the Windswept Heath, they play out a Birds of Paradise, and they pass the turn. All right, Thoughtseize is interesting. I don't think we can lose turn 2, so I think we're going to lead on our Hierarch here, develop our game plan out a little bit, and then next turn we can go for the Throat Thoughtseize, or we can just go Necromentia, depending on what they do. If they cast something like a Ballista, that would probably be best case scenario for them. That's the card we want to dodge, for sure. Lair of the Hydra. It's another card they can go infinite with. All right, there's the Druid. So I think on our turn, we're going to be Thoughtseize and then dump the Devoted Druid. Yawgmoth is interesting as well. I'm going to play out the Peatland. Start with the Thoughtseize here. All right, dump the Call, dump the Druid, and then we'll pass the turn from here. And then next turn, if we draw another land, I think we'll be off to the races at that point. All right, they play their Marsh Flats and nothing. Would love a land drop here. All right, we hit it. That's really good for us. Okay, so I can play out Yawgmoth and then Necro Devoted Druid, and then the following turn dump the Birds of Paradise. I could also play out the Yawgmoth, but I think this is the move. I think this is what we're going to do here. Devoted Druid. All right, and they have a Beseiju in hand. Let's see what else they have in the list. Okay, they have a Cauldra, so I mean, they can beat us down, but I don't think they can combo from here. Tyvar's Stand, target creature can go. And they have a Skyclave Apparition. Okay. I'm just going to screenshot this just because I don't really know. I don't have this committed to memory, so we'll set that aside. All right, Devoted Druids are gone. And we're going to play out our Yawgmoth and then pass the turn from here. All right. Interesting they didn't fetch there. Drew another land. All right, and I think they're pretty much dead to rights at this point. They needed to draw something that turn. All right, we drew a Grist, also a fine draw. Play out our Yawgmoth. We're going to dump down this Birds of Paradise. The reason I'm not attacking here is because they have the Lair of the Hydra. I'm not going to attack into that. All right, and that's a really solid draw as well. Next turn, we'll pretty much just have combo online. We'll be able to get a Hapatra. We'll be able to get a Blood Artist. There's a lot of choices for us to get at this point. All right, they fetch, get a Godless Shrine. They're fetching again. Getting another Temple Garden. Moving back to their turn. All right, and they drew another land. That's their third land in a row. They're going to swing in with the Hydra, I guess. They've reconsidered. They are not. Okay, so we'll get another turn here without our life total being affected at all. Still have a Beseiju in hand. And from here, this land drop gives us our Dryad Arbor. So we'll play that out. We're going to play out our Grist. I really don't need to do anything here. So I'm just going to hang tight. Beseiju targeting the Peatland. Sure. Really not a big deal. We'll just get our Dryad Arbor here. This is fine. Plus our Grist. And then I will likely be getting a probably a Blood Artist, I think, is the move from here, just so we can go infinite after that point. Hapatra is also fine. They have one card in hand. All right, maybe I just get Hapatra here. I think having the threat is reasonable. All right, get our Hapatra. Our opponent is thinking. I think we're gonna make a couple of snakes here. Okay, we'll move back to our turn after that. Okay, yeah, Blood Artist, pretty good draw. I'm gonna plus here, play out my Blood Artist. And we'll see if they get the idea here. We'll swing with the team. All right, they take a hit. We'll Blood Artist down, or Hapatra down our tapped snake. So we'll get a trigger off that, and we'll get a new snake. Target them, they're down to 7, and I'm pretty sure we just have lethal on board at this point. I'm not going to give them another turn. I'm just gonna do it now. I really have no reason not to. If they have something like an Endurance, that's fine. We'll be able to kill it with the Hapatra and its triggers. So I don't know if they realize that, but they gone. They gone. Sorry, my friend, but you are gone. All right, and they see it and they concede. We're 2-0. All right, Hapatra doing work as always. We are back. Modern League. Azja is our opponent here. We are on the play. This is match 3. We are currently 2-0. Opening 7. I like it. I like it. short a land. We need another land, but I think this is definitely solid. They keep their 7. No companion. Play out our Yawgmoth and pass the turn here. Yeah, pretty perfect mana through 2 turns. Definitely want to hit a land in our next 2 turns, but if we don't, we can always chord. All right, there's a Grist. They play out a basic island. We'll have to see what they're doing over there. We move to combat. We'll swing them down to 17. And we'll pass the turn back from here. We play out a Consider. So this is likely Murktide. I think our hand stacks up pretty well against what they're doing. If they're playing Minor Misstep, them being on the draw, a little sketchy for them. Not what they want. They have like a Ragavan here. That would be annoying. All right, shock in their land. This feels like a Ragavan. It is. So, a little annoying. We'll see what they hit. If they hit a land, I'm going to be very angry. Very, very angry. All right, Court of Calm. Cool. We didn't want to draw that, so that's good that they did that. Another Grist, not what we want. From here, I'm going to swing in with the Geist. We'll leave the Wolf back for the Ragavan, and then we'll also chord during their turn, trying to get ourselves up to our 3rd mana. Whatever we chord for is likely going to get bolted, but I think we kind of have to take this line. When I say whatever we chord for, I mean Dryad Arbor. It's likely going to get bolted, but play out their Ragavan, sure. Trigger their Shredder, sure. So if they bolt and then we draw into a land naturally, we'll have a Yawg in play and we'll be in good shape. So kind of setting ourselves up here. Okay, 3, done. Get our Dryad Arbor. All right, they're going to Spell Pierce it. I'd almost prefer that. Sure, aggressive. All right, another Evo. Definitely not what we wanted. All right, so we're pretty far behind now. Missing our land drops for 2 straight turns. Definitely not where we want to be. So we're going to be in a position where we're just going to have to start firing off spells and hoping they stick. And we likely lead on Grists here and then go into Evos from there. They're casting their Iteration. Let's see what they hit. They want to hit a land untapped. Okay. Okay, they have a land in hand. They exile to Spell Pierce. We're going to take a hit for 2 off this Shredder, I'm imagining. Or maybe not. Maybe they're concerned about their life total. Okay, nothing. We like that. Land drop? Okay, we hit our land drop. That is good. So we're firing off this Grist now. It's going to get countered. Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. How many card types do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 4. Alright, we're going to dump their Shredder. Sack our Yawgmoth here. Yeah, we are very okay with that. I was not expecting that to resolve. Alright, and they heat our Yawgmoth, sure. And they're going to fetch, shock. It's interesting they're doing all this pre-combat. Bolt the Grist, sure. Okay, yeah, so they want to get the trigger off of that. That's fine. We'll just yield through the turn. Feels like they're going to play out a Murktide, if I had to guess. Alright, Iteration. 2 cards in hand. They get themselves a Lightning Bolt. Do they bolt face? Do they bolt Geist? Okay, bolt Geist, sure. See if they have another bolt. They do. So we're going to take a hit for 2 from the Ragavan. But we will have Grist in play for sure next turn. Alright, and they hit a Wall of Roots, which we're okay with them exiling. Alright, Yawgmoth, not great. 2 cards in hand. Grist is ticking up. Hits a land. We would have liked that land. Would have been nice. We're six turns in, and we've hit 1 land off of our draws here. Alright, Unholy Heat. There goes Grist. 2 mana. This is a Murktide. And we are now officially in trouble. They have an 8/8 Murktide, and they're attacking with their Ragavan. Okay, I think we'll block that. I guess they might have another Ragavan, is what this suggests to me. Okay, no. Land? Alright, we needed a land there. We're going to start Ignoble. We're going to play out our Yawgmoth. And then next turn we're going to Evo and get something to kill this Murktide if we can. But they've been playing like they don't have Counterspell because they haven't Counterspelled anything. We'll see if that's actually the reality or not. Kind of feels to me like they have a misstep in hand. But then again, they would have countered one of these 2, so I guess not. Alright, we're going down to 8. We're going to draw a card, go up to 2 cards off the Bobble trigger. Drew into a Besage. Now we're drawing our lands. Okay, I think we start with an attack for 2. And there's, I think, a good chance we just lose if they have a counterspell here. Which I would be surprised if they didn't. They've looked through 24 cards at this point. So it's hard to believe they wouldn't have a counterspell here. Okay, yeah, and there it is. Alright, game 2. Game 2. Felt like if we hit our 3rd land drop on curve, we would have easily won that game. So a little annoying that we didn't get there. We're gonna bring in some removal spells. We're gonna bring in a Veil of Summer. And I'm debating whether or not I actually like Ooze in this matchup. I think I'm gonna leave the Ooze out and bring in a Thoughtseize. We're gonna shave our Evos. On the play, we're gonna shave a Yawgmoth, and we're gonna shave some Hierarchs. Oh, I shaved an extra card. And we'll run with this. Alright, what are we doing here? Okay, 7's a little slow, but I think it's a keep. As opposed to last game, we'll be hitting our land drops, which is nice. We're gonna get a basic to start off. This is a Blood Moon deck, so we do need to keep that in our periphery here. Keep your eyes open. And this hand, we can just straight up fetch basics. We don't even have to worry about anything otherwise, so feels pretty good. All right, this is their best possible turn 1. DRC into a Bauble. We really want to draw a 2-drop here. Drawing into like a wall would be great. And they're going to know what we're doing. Push. Okay, I'll take a push. I guess the question is it worth pushing this Dragon's Rage? It's unclear to me. Do I give them another turn of like trying to fill up their graveyard? Or do I just dump this now? I'll just dump it now, I think. I think that's reasonable. And we'll try to stick an Endurance at some point over the next turn, depending on what they do. Basic. They're thinking and contemplating their next move. I always comment on these Kamigawa lands when I see them. I'm a big fan of them. This one in particular, not as much though. This one's got a little too much going on for my liking, and I'm not exactly sure where the island actually is. Don't know about that one. All right, I'm gonna play out my Foothills, and I'm going to attack with my Yawgmoth, and if they want to dash in a Ragavan, that is fine by me. And by that I meant on their next turn, dash in a Ragavan. Not referring to right now, because that would not be legal. Can't do that. And if they cast something like a Consider right now, I'll flash in my Endurance. This is going to give them a 4th card type though. I wonder if I Endurance them during the upkeep. I actually think that might be the move. Just cut them off their mana a little bit. They dump a Murktide. Okay, I'm going to do this upkeep. And the reason being is if they do counterspell this, it takes their turn and it gets us our Yawgmoth into play. So we'll see if they want to do this. Might be a mistake. Maybe I just stick it when I have the opportunity to. All right, counterspell, yep. There's their land drop. Untapped, land, Dragon's Rage. That one's a 3/3. Best draw from here is like another Endurance probably. There's our Yawg. As long as they don't have a Subtlety. But I've decided I'm going to call Sheila. As long as they don't have Sheila, this will stick. And they do. They do. Sheila has entered the field of play. Alright, I think we put our Yawg on top. I'm going to name each and every elemental. This is Sheila. Fury I've decided is Francis. Endurance is Eugene. Maybe I should have... I think I probably should have resolved my Eugene when I had the shot. I think I might have been a little greedy there. Not playing around Sheila. Alright, they're leaving 3 mana up. So they are playing around. Alright, I'm going to lead on Yawgmoth. See if they want to counter this. They don't. I'm going to attack with my other Yawgmoth. Alright. Nothing happening there. I'll play out my Peatland and I'll pass turn from here. I'm not just going to jam Yawg into an open counter spell. I'll force them to leave it up a little bit. Okay. Take a hit for 3. We're going to go down to 12. I mean, this is going to clock us quicker than we can clock them, so... Iteration, a little greedy unless they have a land in hand. Dump a Consider. Alright, there's their land. They've got 4 cards in hand. Draw a card off this Peatland. We draw into a bird. Nothing too special here. We'll swing for 2. And I'm going to lead bird and then play out the Wall of Roots. And the reason being is the bird, if I play it first, they can't commit to a counterspell there. And here they can commit to a counterspell, so The reason they can't commit to a counter if I play the bird out first, because they don't know my last card isn't a land, and then I could just go into a Yawg from there, so. All right, take a hit, we're down to 9. And now we're in double spell territory, depending on what they do. All right, Hearse, fine. They dump a land. So our wolves are potentially in harm's way here. Blooming Marsh, not great. All right, we'll leave with an attack here. Hit for 2, put them down at 12. They're getting to a point where they have enough mana where they can like play a spell and then also leave a counterspell, kind of like what they just did. Push and Endurance. And I suppose our best draw from here is another Endurance probably, or a Chord of Calling. They have 4 cards in hand. I'm almost to the point where I'm blocking with this bird too. We're getting really close to just being burnt out. And this is a Murktide here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we need like Grist. Grist is our best draw from here. All right, there's the Grist. So I guess we lead. I guess they could have like Spell Pierce and Counterspell if they didn't board out their Spell Pierces. Lead on Yawg. Grist is kind of the prize here, so. All right, there's the Counterspell. They dump a Hearse, sure. 2, 3, 4. This feels like a Spell Pierce to me, but we have to make this play. Okay, they didn't have it. So we'll get our Grist, and we will, we're gonna sacrifice our Wall of Roots and kill this Murktide. If they have a Bolt in hand, we just lose. So we'll see if they don't slow roll us here and just bolt us and get it over with. Okay, I suppose if they have a 2 power creature as well, they can just swing in with the Hearse. Okay, so yeah, so this is lethal. All right, we lost. I feel like I probably could have played that match better. That was one where I feel like it got away from us a little bit. I think the big mistake I made in that match was the Endurance play. I think I needed to cast that Endurance when I had the opportunity. I got greedy there, and that was it. This is round 4 of our Modern League. We're currently 2-1. Can't help but feel like I gave that last one away a little bit. Not my finest moment. Opponent, Deucebuckbuck, like the name, is on the play. They mulligan to 6. Our opening 7 is solid. We're going to keep this. Definitely dependent on this bird. We'll see if bird gets there for us. Deucebuckbuck mulliganing to 5 cards. 4 cards. You're crazy. What are you doing? All right, so at this point we're thinking Tron or Dredge. What are you doing, Deuce? Okay, Deuce keeps a 4-card hand. Forced. Grazer. Okay, so they're on Titan or a Scapeshift build. I think our hand is pretty good against that. And Endurance is fine. Not the best card, not the worst card. Depending on what we draw here, we might go Geist turn 2. All right, Boros Garrison, they have 1 card in hand. So, I mean, regardless of what's in their hand, we know about Forest. I'm going to keep track of this stuff because I should, and I usually don't. Get a little complacent there sometimes. Okay, so Innkeeper is actually really nice. So we can go Innkeeper into Geist and then Evo next turn. So I think we're going to do that. And then we're like an inch away from comboing. Yes, an inch, a millimeter. They will have an Amulet in play next turn. And I wonder, I would imagine they probably just activate this Saga as opposed to making mana. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You have a 1/1. So they're not going off this turn. We know that much. There's the Amulet. We know about a basic Forest. Let's see if they play that out. 3 cards in hand. There's the Forest. All right. All is well and good. All right, and they just scoop. They have 2 lands in hand. Sure. I mean, you mulligan to 5 or 4. So you're kind of in a tough spot there, Deuce. Not trying to be mean or anything, but that's a tough one. Sideboarding for this matchup. I think you guys have seen me board quite a bit in this matchup over the last couple of weeks. We're going to bring in 9 cards. I'm not sure which of these 2 I'm going to bring in. We're going to board out Chord, Endurance, Grist, Wall, Wolf, Geist. I think we'll keep in a Wolf. No, we'll pull 1 and 1. The thing with Geist is it's not really hitting them. Like, it's not getting through for damage because all their creatures have 3 toughness or more, but at the same time, with the exception of Azusa, at the same time, I want to have Geist in the deck for Evos. So I'll actually probably bring another Wolf back in because I don't think I'm not bringing in both of these cards. I'm only bringing in one of them. Force of Vigors, Crime Punishment. I think on the draw I'm actually going to bring in the Go for the Throat. All right, we'll run with that. I don't know if Go for the Throat's better than Thoughtseize here, but I think that's what we're going to do. I like this hand. I don't love it, but I think it's a keep because it has a ton of interaction. We don't really have any... We're not going to be aggressive here. Okay, but I like the way that this is shaping up with this Force of Vigor situation, so we're okay with this. Yawgmoth. Okay, I think we're just going to start on a Thoughtseize. Just see what they're working with. All right, this is an interesting hand. Titan, Pact, Explore, Dismember. I think we get rid of the Titan here. I mean, they're really, really short on land, though. They're pretty far off of that. Maybe Pact is better. They don't even have any colored mana with the exception of like filtering into this garden, but that's not very good. All right, I think we're gonna get rid of the Titan. That might have been a mistake. There's a possibility that I should have gotten rid of the Pact there because it's a little bit more of a versatile card, but it also, there's a cost to it. And right now they can't pay that cost. All right, they choose Dryad. So if they cast a Dryad, we can get rid of that. All right, we're doing a Hapatra. Hapatra's fine. Like if they want to dismember Hapatra, not really a big deal. Or maybe I play out like Dryad Arbor Wolf if they want to dismember. But I think they use their turn to like copy this Amulet most likely. I actually think I'm just going to play out the Wolf in the Mire. I think this is how we're going to do this here. I think we're going to leave either Hapatra or Arbor back as pitch fodder because I think they're going to have double Amulet this turn. And they might even just scoop if we dump both of these. All right, there's the double Amulet. And now from here, we're going to use this here and now. And the question is, what do we get rid of? I think I'm just going to get rid of the Dryad Arbor, to be honest. Force of Vigor is a messed up card. All right, they got nothing. They are not doing anything here. All right, we'll leave it intact for one, and then we'll play out our Grist here. Drawing into that land, fairly obviously a pretty good draw. And I think they're going to be hard-pressed to win from here. We can also find a Might if we're in a pinch. And if they have like a Saga or another Titan or another Amulet, we'll be able to deal with that. So they got the Growth Chamber, sure. So they'll be able to explore next turn. All right, so that is climbing our way up to a Yawgmoth here. Dumped an Innkeeper, play out our land, swing for 2. And we're going to play out our Hapatra. If they want to spend the Dismember on this, I'm perfectly fine with that. It really doesn't matter. This essentially is just like a conduit to get Yawgmoth anyway through the Evo. Like, we're not too concerned about using Hapatra for its ability this game. All right, we knew about that Cavern. They have 6 cards in hand now, and they do nothing. Okay. And they scoop. They scoop. And they show us their hand once more, and they have a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. All right, we're 3-1. All right, this is match 5 of our Modern League. We are on the draw, and we are playing against DunningKrugR. And I could be mistaken, but I think this is a fellow Yawgmoth pilot. And Dunning says, fancy seeing you, good content lately. All right, Dunning, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. Opening 7, this is a solid keep. Let's see how this one goes. We're on the draw, which I don't love right off the bat. Not the biggest fan of that situation. Okay, they keep 7-card hand. I'm keeping my 7. Let's do it. Let's go. All right, Triumph. All right, we drew our second Beseiju. Not really where we want to be. Triumph to me says Rhinos right off the bat. That's like where my mind initially goes. We'll see if my inclination is correct. Hopefully I'm not. Hopefully I'm wrong. Upkeep, draw, okay. This also feels like a Fury deck and a Fire Ice deck. All of which feel really, really bad if they have like a Fury I mean, either of them. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think and play at the same time. Speak and play at the same time. Fire Ice, Fury. I think if they had Fire Ice, they would have cast it. If they had a Fury, probably not. But it's like, do we play into that? But if they just go like Rhinos next turn, like, do we just lose? Do I have to get this second Hierarch into play? I'm gonna fetch Shock. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit of a weird line. No, it's not. I'm just gonna play out the Hierarch. We'll see what they do here. It's interesting they're fetching right now. Do they have like counterspell? What are you playing? What are you doing, Dunning? Alright, they just fetch another Triumph. Alright, I think I took 2 damage unnecessarily. I don't think I'm gonna play out this other Ignoble. I think they do have I think they have a Fury. So I'm not gonna play into it. This might be wrong. This is hard. To 1-drop or not to 1-drop. They know what I'm playing. I think they have a Fury. I'm gonna wait. See if I get punished. Like, if my Ignoble dies, that would be really bad. But if not, strange, they didn't do anything. I'm gonna leave with an attack for 3. Put them down to 13. Not completely clear what they're doing. We'll play out our second Beseiju. We'll keep this one. I'll play out our Yawg. Okay, I guess this is Scapeshift. Wasn't expecting that. 1, 2, 3. Dryad. Okay, so this is Scapeshift. Alright, they have 4 cards in hand. We lost both of our Besejus, which kind of stinks. I'm debating this turn. Do I play out Hierarch Yawgmoth or do I Evo? I think I'm going to go Hierarch Yawgmoth and try to kill next turn. Once again, this leaves us open to a Fire Ice, but I think they would have cast it if they had it. And we can definitely die. There's definitely a possibility. But there's nothing... I mean, I guess we could have evoed into a Grist and killed this Dryad, but maybe that was the play. You know, you're kind of torn in this like back and forth. Do you try to kill them or do you try not to die? And it's like, which game plan do you play into? This is Scapeshift. It's 5 mana. Feels like Scapeshift. Okay. They only have 6 lands, so they can't actually... Oh, yes, I guess they can if they get double Valakut. We'll take 6 off of every land. So we'll take, yeah, we'll be super dead. Okay. Sure. So I guess the move was get Grist. Okay. Game 2. I think we're going to bring in some number of Force of Vigors. We're going to bring in Necromentia. We're going to bring in Thoughtseizes. I'm going to bring in a Might. Only 1 Force of Vigor. And I think I'm going to bring in a Go for the Throat. Maybe even a Push too. Probably not. Maybe Push is just better. Push hits Omnath and it hits Dryad. I mean, maybe both of these are good. I don't know. Maybe we'll just keep the Push. Like, we're on the play. I kind of want to be aggressive. They do run Veil of Summer, so we do have to play around that too. Evos are kind of medium. Endurance is very medium. Grist is so-so. Grist is kind of slow. Birds aren't great. They do have Fire Ice. They do have Wrenn and 6. So I think we're going to go with this. Innkeeper is not great either. Maybe keep a bird. Yeah, this matchup's tricky. Yeah, cut a cord and keep the Evos. I don't love the Evos, but I think we're going to keep it in and go with this. Alright, opening 7. I don't think we can keep this. We will mulligan. Our 6-card hand. They kept a 7. As much as I want to keep this, like, I mulled a 5. I feel like I've had so many matches, like match 5 of a league where it's like either a 5-0 or a 4-1 on the line, where I mulligan into oblivion at the end of the league. Oh, this hand is so sketchy. I don't think we can keep this, unfortunately. And this isn't any better, but I think we are forced to keep a 5 at this point. We're gonna get rid of the cord and the Geist, I think. We'll go with it. And I think I lead Hierarch, hope they don't bolt it, and then Thoughtseize and Yawgmoth on turn 2. This really doesn't feel good though. I am not optimistic about our chances this game. Steam Vents, untapped, bolt the Hierarch, sure. Land. We need like 3 lands in a row. And even then, it's like not good. Counterspell. I wasn't expecting to see Counterspell. So this is just like a true Scapeshift deck. We're going to give him a bunch of Counterspells and we'll take the Dryad. Mulligan to 5 and we got a 1-lander. Gonna be tough to win. Misty, sure. We'll play our Yawgmoth. Would you like to remand my Yawgmoth? They do not. Alright, we're on the board. We're cruising. I mean, we got the combo. All we need is 3 more lands and to be able to get through 3 counterspells. Alright, we know 4 of their 5 cards. Not a land. We will lead with an attack. I would like to play out a Yawgmoth. Would you like to counterspell? Alright, there's a remand, sure. The tempo is out of control. Remand, that's a card that has like fallen from grace big time. Used to see that thing everywhere. Still know 3 of their 5 cards. Now, not so much. Back in the glory days of twin decks, we all used to love some remand. I will swing. I don't know that my life total really matters at this point. I don't think there's a reason to just play out a Yawgmoth like that. They gonna counterspell it? Okay, we're drawing some counterspells out here. We're okay with that. We have 4 cards in hand, unless unless they just draw in more counterspells. All those Ketra Triomes, sure. We have 5 cards in hand. We know 2 of them. Still know 2 of them. Wouldn't mind another land from here. Okay, we're getting there. That one might be worth keeping. Maybe. We'll swing for 1. They're on a 13-turn clock. We're getting there. I'm going to play out the Besaju. I think we need to play out the Blood Artist. It's getting countered. Sure. Take it away. Take it away. Take my Blood Artist away. I don't care. I don't care. 4 cards in hand. Scalding Tarn. I guess they still have the Stomping Ground in hand. They used both their counterspells. I guess if they just have like land and Scapeshift, I think we just lose from there. Pretty sure. Nice. Nice Ignoble. This has been an exhilarating game here. Another counterspell. So they drew another counter. Really doesn't matter at this point. I have to imagine we're dead. Next turn. We know they have a land. Unless literally their last card is like... Their last 3 cards are just all lands. I'd be very surprised though. Stomping Grounds. There's the Stomping Ground. Tapped. Alright, nothing. Okay. Land. Another Hierarch. I would like to attack for 2. Nice. We're speeding up this clock here. Alright. We got ourselves a Yawg next turn, potentially. We don't have a combo though, so it doesn't really do too much for us, but 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana. That was rude. I haven't seen that card in so long. Alright, Grist is fine. Counterspell or no? Alright, Grist is actually a pretty quick clock. They're on a 2-turn clock now with this Grist. Like, are we going to get really, really lucky? Could we get lucky? Growth Spiral, sure. They cantrip, draw into a card. This is stressful. Very stressful. No Scapeshift, okay. Okay. Wall of Roots, sure. I'm going to start with an attack, and then I will be plussing my Grist. I wonder if I cast anything. I think I just pass the turn. Like if they have a remand, I don't want to cast anything into that. So yeah, I think I'm just going to let it be. They're at 6. Do we get ridiculously lucky and win this game? 1 mana. What are you doing, Dunning? 4. Scapeshift. 5. 6. Alright, this is a Scapeshift. We're dead. We're dead. Alright. We were so close. I feel like the end of every league has been such a letdown. This, no exception. I suppose I do have an out here. I need to turn off my auto yields. I potentially have an out. Alright, these Valakutes are going to trigger and hit us for a ton of damage. I don't think there's anything we can do from here, but I'm going to draw a card with this Peatland, and that is it. GG's to my opponent. GG's to this league. My light on my computer just turned off by itself, and I think it knows it was curtains for us. So that does it. Our competitive league, we went 3-2, a disappointing end. We didn't really get the chance to show our stuff too much in that last match. Kind of got blown out of the water a little bit. Mull to 5, 1 lander, stalled on lands for I don't know how many turns. We had a shot. We needed one more turn and we had lethal, but Dunning drew the Scapeshift on us, and that was it. As for this list, I think the list is excellent. I don't think anything really needs to be changed. I think I probably could have played better that league, but you know, with that being said, you know, don't blame it on the deck. Blame it on me. It was my fault. Sideboard, I think it's well-rounded. I think it's well-suited for this metagame. If you are soft to Shieldred, if you have a soft spot for it, you can stick it back in there. But I think probably having 2 removal spells, yeah, it might be better. I don't know yet. I don't know. I never know. I'm always in limbo on like the 15th card of the sideboard, but sideboard feels strong. The deck feels strong. It all feels well-rounded. I think it's well-positioned. And I think this is an excellent list to be taking with you to your RCQ this weekend. If that's what you're doing, to your competitive event, I would recommend this list because I think it is a strong 75. So I'm checking out, everybody. The weekend is upon us. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you crush any events that you're playing this weekend. All the success in the world, even to you, Dunning, if you're watching this. Even though you beat me, I'll get you next time. Everybody, I will catch you on Monday for a new video. We're doing clinical research. We're going to be playing a different deck on Monday, so make sure you tune in for that. And I will see you all then. Be well.